study I recently read in business school said that executives leave money on the table during negotiations about 80% of the time. 80%. Further research also tells us that the average person is so afraid of negotiations that they'd rather give more time, more money, whatever it is, just to not have to negotiate at all. And some of that anxiety stems from the fact that some people see negotiations as a battle between two people, a struggle. And unless you're able to hold your own ground and really fight for what you want, you're going to get plowed over. But in reality, and the bias with negotiations is it's about negotiations being about self-interest. However, in the real world, if you go into a negotiation driven by self-interest, you're not going to get the right results. Any of the best negotiators out there will tell you that the only way to get consistently good results is to have cooperation. And you get cooperation by building trust, focusing on the other person's interests, and growing both parties share the pie. Now, negotiations is obviously a big topic, but I only have 5 to 7 minutes, so I'd like to focus on 2 negotiation types, tie in an example, and show you how by moving from one issue negotiation to multiple issues, you'll have better successes down the road. So, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, there's 2 negotiation types, distributive and integrative. Distributive is a competitive negotiation type, typically around one issue, where you have a zero-sum game, which means that I can only win if you lose. Imagine 2 people playing tug-of-war. It's very fierce and competitive, and that's because we're both focused on the same issue, more rope. The next negotiation type is the integrative type. The integrative type typically involves the same 2 people, but they're focused on multiple issues, and they want these multiple issues to varying degrees. And so you have multiple issues, and for example, you could look at arguing over a total compensation plan. So in a total compensation plan, you might have salary, benefits, your job location, signing bonus, etc. The best way to handle this type of negotiation is to make trade-offs with the other party and build trust. And that way you can grow your share of the pie by working through multiple issues in a cohesive manner. For example, the employee may pick, I want the highest salary I can get. But the employer will say, okay, well, if I'm going to give you that, then I want to give you the least benefits I could possibly give you because those are costly to me. This is kind of a win-win on both sides. If you took that total compensation example and you made the distributive that we just talked about, where you take salary, you negotiate, come to a conclusion, put it away, signing bonus, negotiate, put it away, you're losing out on the opportunity to come up with creative resolutions, and you're not able to grow the pie as vastly. In 1912, Teddy Roosevelt was on the campaign trail. Him and his team printed off 3 million pamphlets and distributed them all across the United States. Once they were fully distributed, someone on the tour noticed that there was a small copyright R on the image of the pamphlet they had printed. They clearly had a big problem here. By go ahead and distributing them, they may face a fine of $3 million because the studio asked for $1 per reprint. So obviously that would bankrupt the campaign, and Teddy would most likely have to step off the trail. But if they didn't use them, then Teddy wouldn't be able to tell all the potential voters his platform and why he should be reelected. So they faced a big problem, but the head of the campaign team was a great negotiator. So what he did is he sent a telegraph to the studio in Chicago. And he said, I work for Teddy Roosevelt's campaign, and we want to print off millions of pamphlets. And this would be a great opportunity for the studio we choose to get a lot of publicity. How much would you pay us for the opportunity? Quickly gets the telegraph back saying, we really appreciate the opportunity. We will gladly pay you $250. So clearly, Teddy Roosevelt's campaign manager was a great negotiator, and he was such a great negotiator because he was able to move a distributive argument, one about competition and fighting over one issue, which would have been fighting over a discount to the $3 million fee they would have to pay, to an iterative issue, one about multiple issues, like the fees, the interest to the other party, etc. So fellow Toastmasters, there's a lot you can learn about negotiations, but as you leave here tonight, think about one simple skill that you can add to your negotiation toolbox, and that is to move single issue arguments to multi-issue arguments, to hone in cooperation by building trust, looking at the other side's interests, and trying to grow the pie with it whole.